Unspoken Real Nerds. I'm Ryan. To my right is...
Oh, James. I'm on the right this time.
To my left is...
Brad.
In front of me is my wife.
Hi, I'm Maura.
And we also have Matt all the way from Colorado Springs, looking very dapper today.
He does. He does.
He could be our Don Draper. I don't know.
Yeah, Don Draper's more interesting than Matt is. No offense, Matt. Matt's just... Don Draper's...
No, I don't think so, by the way.
Well, Don Draper was in the Korean War. So it's an awesome show.
Don Draper. Yeah. Sorry, I was gonna.
Anyway,
so we usually start with real news, but we're kind of bringing in
It's a new segment.
A new segment and stuff for the new year, and our new segment is box office performance for the week. All our figures are pulled off Box Office Mojo. You can also go to Media by Numbers if you wanted to see other numbers for it. But last
the correct
week,
numbers are on Box Office Mojo.
Yeah, but that's Box Office Mojo's only job is to report, grosses. Number one last week was a movie we did not see on purpose. It was Contraband. But funny thing about this movie, it made $28 million. That's pretty big in January. First week of January, I think so. Or I guess second week of January.
Yeah.
I don't know. But this week also Underworld Awakening comes out. And so Kate Beckinsale could have back-to-back number one movies in back-to-back weeks.
That's right, because she's in Contraband.
She's in Contraband.
And what's the other... Isn't there a third movie that's coming out this week? Because there's Haywire, which we saw, and then Underworld Evolution.
Red Tails.
Red Tails.
So it's as far as I'm concerned, it's a run between Underworld and Red Tails. But I don't think Red Tails is going to
I think Underworld will probably win.
Probably.
Maybe. We'll see. Though we'll have a better idea later tonight when they pull all the numbers, estimates. And then Beauty and the Beast 3D was number 2 with $22 million. So Disney, on a movie that's already made $200 million,
$400 million,
yeah, worldwide, converts it to 3D, puts it in theater. And I mean, how much money do you think it actually cost Disney to remake the movie to 3D?
Couple million,
yeah. So they're probably already like $20 million in the black on it.
The question is whether or not it would have made more money if they'd released it in 2D.
I don't know.
I would have totally wanted to go see that movie if it weren't in 3D.
It's because you're younger than us.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
But I have it on Blu-ray. I don't think there's a reason for me to go to theater and see it.
Oh, see, I don't have it on Blu-ray.
I read that retailers are upset that
the 3D
they have
version.
the 3D version in stores while the movie's out in theaters. The theaters are upset.
They're upset, but I'm reading here it's almost $9,000 per screen. That's pretty. That's a pretty big average.
Oh, yeah. You know, when Disney hands you that much money, I think you just say, "Oh, okay, that was good."
Yeah,
thanks.
Number 3 was Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol, which is
and it's what, 5th week?
Oh man,
5th week, yeah.
Well deserved.
189 million so far.
We ran into some people tonight who were going to see it.
Yeah, we told them to go see it.
They weren't sure what they should see, and
that's the movie they should go see.
Yeah,
it was definitely It's cool that's still performing well. It means it was a slow burn because remember it was released in IMAX only the week we saw it, and Paramount was right. They played the word of mouth game and it spread, and it's a really successful movie because of it. I think it's at like some $600 million worldwide, so they're making lots of money. And then Joyful Noise is the next one with Dolly Parton and Queen Latifah.
Oh man, wow.
You know what sucks is the trailer for that movie. Especially...
Dolly Parton doesn't have any of her real face left.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, poor Dolly Parton. I love Dolly Parton.
I read an article in Entertainment Weekly where they're interviewing both her and Queen Latifah.
I hate Queen Latifah.
She was saying that the only way she would be in this movie is if she got to sing, keep her nails, and keep her boobs shown or something.
I think she just meant... I think Dolly Parton just makes a lot of jokes about her boobs being big, so she probably was just throwing one of those in there.
Yeah, I'm sure she is. I mean, she doesn't.
I don't think she was saying, "I really want to wear a dress where I get to pour out of it."
And another.
I'm in my 70s.
Yeah, she's in her 70s yet. I think she's maybe.
I think
maybe
so.
Late 60s. I don't know.
She does not look good for 70s. She looks like somebody who's just like pasted together.
Because she is.
I love Dolly Parton.
And the last one is another one that's been on the top 5 for 5 weeks, and that's Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows, which I think is one of my favorite movies from last year. So, top 15. I think it was 15 if I remember right. But that was one that surprised me how fun it was. So yeah, all the movies in the top 5 except for Contraband and Joyful Noise. Hey, go see them. I don't know. I can't say that I haven't seen Contraband. That's not very fair.
Yeah.
But and it has really good actors in it. It really does.
It's January. Like
Yeah.
you have to grade everything on a different scale in January.
Speaking
We'll
of
get
which,
to that later.
we saw Haywire today. But before we talk about Haywire, it's real news time.
It's real news. Yay!
Yay, real news. So did you guys see that Chuck Norris has the power to change ratings of movies?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
because
does.
there's always that running joke, Chuck Norris.
Yeah, that's all the Chuck Norris.
Chuck
jokes.
Norris jokes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Chuck Norris doesn't teabag people; he potato sacks them.
exactly. And so when Sylvester Stallone went to Chuck Norris and said, "Hey, I want you to be in The Expendables," Chuck Norris said, "I'm only going to be in it if you make the language more kid friendly and you make the movie PG-13." And they made the movie PG-13.
Now, I have a point to this, which is, I don't think that this is entirely a bad thing.
No, I don't
the
think so
truth
either.
The truth is, I didn't see Expendables 1. I don't think a lot of people saw Expendables.
I saw it.
Like, it did fairly well, but it didn't do gangbusters, and part of that is that if you make a movie R, fewer people see it. If you want to make a really cool PG-13, a really cool action movie, you can make it PG-13. And yes, there are going to be arguments like, oh, well, Die Hard 4 would have been set better if he said fuck 5 times, but I don't think that really matters. What you can get away with action-wise in a PG-13 is pretty broad. I don't think you really need to have the language there.
Yeah, but the only thing I really liked about the first Expendables was people getting mowed down in graphic violence.
And Eric Roberts' head getting chopped off,
So
I
that's
see.
not going to be repeated, so I don't
Well,
know.
but we'll see.
When he makes Rambo 5, where he fights like a robotic panther or whatever the shit that movie's about, then we'll get to
What?
see that stuff.
This is happening?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's happening anymore, but yeah, the last time that there was news about a Rambo 5...
But I thought
it
the
was-
last Rambo was cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's awesome. There's like 20 minutes of just dudes running over a field and then falling down as soon as they get close enough to get hit by bullets.
Keeping the tradition of Rambo.
Yeah.
Well, except for the
Actually,
first one.
yeah, not keeping
The first
it-
one's like a real drama.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, he kills one person, and
On
that's not on
accident.
purpose.
on accident, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of funny when I read that. But it's
What's the
okay
last movie
too.
Chuck Norris has been in?
Yeah,
Just TV?
just TV.
I think that's part of it, is that they really want to get Chuck Norris in a movie. Like, people will come out to see that movie if Chuck Norris is in it.
Well, I mean, they have so many guys in the movie. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. I had another thing, but it just totally escaped my mind. That's terrible. I'm usually pretty good at that.
Come on, you're the host.
I know,
Get it
right?
Together.
I read or watched, I guess, the video of the Amazing Spider-Man press conference in Japan,
Oh, yeah.
it was cute. It's really cute because Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield are dating right now, so they kind of have that cute lovey-dovey thing going on, and
Right.
and they really didn't, say anything new. The lamest thing that was asked of them is there an iconic kiss like in the first one? And Emma Stone actually answered it kind of funny. She said, "Well, why would I tell you it's iconic? You say, wait for the iconic part. Wait for the iconic part. That's stupid." So I like that. And she's right. I mean,
That's a dumb question.
I don't think even when Sam Raimi made the first Spider-Man, I don't think he thought that would be the iconic scene from
No,
Spider-Man.
it was just a neat thing that you couldn't do anything anywhere else.
Because I still think my iconic scene from the Spider-Man movie is when the Green Goblin drops both Mary Jane and the cable car at the same time, and you see the reflection in Spider-Man's eyes, and he has to decide what to save, and he saves both of them. To me, that's iconic Spider-Man. But, for some reason, because her nipples were seen through a dress, it's his kiss of her upside down.
And that's how he gets Spider-Man in this week's episode.
Yep.
Brad, do you have anything?
I do.
Cool.
Hey, you took a shot at me.
What?
What?
Because I got Spider-Man in the...
Oh, yeah.
What
No,
have
it's
you
fine.
done without Spider-Man in the news this week?
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm a big DC fan,
Oh, yeah.
and this is kind of trivial. I mean, it's just graphic design.
It is trivial. Well, but
But,
it's right up your alley. Yeah.
Yeah. So as an artist, it's kind of maybe I'm having a knee-jerk reaction, but the new DC Comics logo,
Sucks balls.
yeah,
Does it to me look like they're pulling a sticker?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like they're
it's
pulling the
bizarre.
D off the C.
Yeah, it's...
Here's the thing. The idea behind it is very creative and complex, but the actual execution of it is just kind of
It doesn't
has
look
no
like
impact.
a D and a C. It looks like
I see the D. It's part of the
Yeah.
C, and it's getting peeled over, and I get the dual identities things. It's a very deep idea, but it's just like, as far as like comic book impact, it's just so lame and weak. And yeah, it's like some of them have, like, for the Flash, you got like the lightning bolts, and for the Green Lantern, you got the glowing thing. But
my
still,
biggest issue with it is that I can't see it when a movie starts. I can't see that being as cool and exciting as when the Marvel logo starts on a movie. You know, like, they found a way to make the Marvel logo play well on a screen, whereas this new thing does not work properly.
I really enjoyed the last one. I thought it was a great update to like a really old logo, but at the same time, it's like, it just reeks of panic, because they've done the whole New 52, and they rebranded, like, what, 5 years ago? They've got a new logo, and now they're going to a new one just because they're doing this whole restructuring. And here's Marvel, who has not changed a thing logo-wise.
Yeah.
Even after DC already redid their logo. So it's just, it's really unnecessary.
Yeah, it is bizarre because I want to say in the last 10 years they've changed their logo 3 times.
DC?
Yeah, because then it used to be the circle with the DC in it, with the stars,
right?
And then it was,
and now it's the
swoopy one,
right? The
and
one
then,
star
they've
going
redesigned
around
it
the
twice.
DC.
They've had 3.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I guess 3,
and that's still
and Marvel's never changed their logo.
Yeah.
Ever.
I kind of like it as far as going on issues. You know?
It does look good
like,
on
I
the
think
comic
it looks
books.
good on the comics, but that's my problem. Is that I think it only looks good on comics.
Yeah, and you know what looks better? The previous logo on comics. To me.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's probably true. It looks more like something that it looks more like a Vertigo logo or something like that. It's a little more indie, but yeah, I don't know. It's stupid, and they'll
But, like,
change it another year.
If I had the choice, I would probably
And
even go with the like Stark circle with the stars before the new one.
It's weird because, in my opinion, DC has actually had a really, really good year, even though I don't think they deserve to have a really, really good year. So it's weird for them to do that kind of a thing now when things are starting to go well again for them.
Yeah.
Though partially, I think that in 6 months they'll be right back where they were, because I don't think they actually changed anything.
Yeah, I don't understand their relaunch though, because I don't really read DC, but I read reviews, and they sound like the same books. Like, I don't understand why they relaunched everything.
All I know is they canceled the only DC book I was reading,
Which was
Power Girl.
Oh.
Are you
There's
still
no
reading?
longer a
Are you even
Power
reading
Girl.
Batman right now?
I'm reading Batman. I stopped getting Detective Comics and all the like Nightwing, Robin, and all that. I'm just reading Batman, and I'm focusing on Ninja Turtles.
So is Batman? Is it anything different? Did it retell his origin? I don't know. I'm just
No,
curious.
I read the first. They've been sitting on the shelf because I barely read them anymore. But I read the first one of the relaunch, and it's just the same old. The book is told through Batman's inner monologue, and it's
So
it's not very memorable. He's
So basically, they
tracking down
wanted
a
number
killer or
one so
something.
people would buy him.
Yeah, and then at the end,
Yeah.
it's hinted that Dick Grayson is not who he says he is, or something. He's actually a villain or something. I don't know. I was just like, it was hard to follow, and I kind of tuned out. Didn't go on to the next.
Written by
one,
Grant
but-
Morrison, right? Is
I
Batman
don't
written
think
by
so.
Grant Morrison?
I
Oh, he's
think
writing
it's-
Batman Inc., I think.
Scott Snyder, maybe.
Maybe. I
That's
think
the
you're right.
artist. I don't know.
I don't know.
No,
Anyways.
no, Scott Snyder's a writer.
Writer. Yeah. I'm not impressed right now. I'll keep reading it, but
Yeah.
this is a podcast about movies, so.
Whatever.
Uh,
Anyway,
pop
DC
culture.
logo, not a fan, but the other thing is like it'll be tagged onto the Dark Knight Rises. So like the other 2 movies have the other logo, and
So
then the
instead,
third one's gonna be.
you're gonna not like The Dark Knight Rises as
No.
much because that logo's on there.
Also, like it'll just be. It's just like this little tweak that's it's not consistent.
Yeah.
Bug
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
But
I was thinking about that.
like I said, trivial. It's not a big deal. It's just
Yeah.
it'll probably grow on me whenever.
Yeah, maybe later on you won't even notice.
Yeah. And then I was going to talk about the George Lucas thing, but I think James already has that ready to go. So why don't you
Yeah,
go
well,
into James's news?
we'll get to it here in a minute. Did anybody watch the Golden Globes?
Oh shit! I
I
forgot
did.
another thing.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I didn't watch it either. It was pretty
Nope.
stupid.
Me and Laura watched about 20 minutes of it.
I think there was one thing that when I looked through the winners made me mad. I was like, that shouldn't be, but
I like
It's
the
the
artist
Golden
won some
Globe.
awards, but other than that,
they're so pointless at this point that I don't really care. Anyway,
it doesn't mean anything. They're just peers giving awards to peers, and Or was it
Well,
journalists?
no.
It was a journalist.
No. It's the Hollywood
The
Foreign
Academy
Press.
Awards is the peers to peer.
Yeah. And even that isn't quite peers. Like,
It's a
the real
marketing
awards that I
strategy.
think matter to me are like the DGAs and the WGAs, and the DGAs are actually really interesting because they actually, everyone who's nominated gets the award, but then they just pick one of them and have that person give a speech, and that person won. I'm putting quotes around won, but everybody actually gets the award. It's kind of cool because it solves the problem of Quentin Tarantino going up against Jason Reitman. You're like, no, these are two totally different guys, and they don't need to be in the same category. Anyway, real news this week. The interesting thing is the Odeon Theaters, I don't know if you saw this, the Odeon Theaters are a big chain of theaters in the UK. And there was a story this week that they were giving money back. They were giving out refunds to people who were complaining about a lack of dialogue in The Artist. They were they were walking out of theaters pissed off that they had too little of a picture and that there was no talking, and they got their money back. And I wanted to bring this up because there's a guy who comes into my work, and this week he had ordered a bunch of stuff, and one of the things he'd ordered was some popcorn, and I was asking him a question about it, which that sounds weird, but anyway, just roll with me. And he said, "Oh, I don't know anything about." He's this British guy who's kind of a prick. Anyway,
surprise.
Yeah, and but I want to like him, but at the same time,
He's
I'm like,
British, dude.
yeah, why are you being a dick to me? And I say that because he says this thing about, oh, I don't know anything about popcorn. It's this American thing. You Americans go to movies, and all you care about is eating your popcorn, and you don't watch the movie. And I was like, I wanted to jump down his throat and be like, no, fuck you, dude. I go every week, and I watch the movie. I don't even like eating popcorn. I don't like when people sitting next to me eat popcorn.
Well, what snacks do they get?
I don't fucking, yeah. They
Tea and crumpets?
Yeah,
fucking
they
British
got some.
slimy bastards.
Hey,
1776, that's all I gotta say.
Hey, we have a lot of new followers.
I just thought it was funny.
They might be foreign.
Who cares? I'm American.
I just thought it was funny because I was like, come, everybody is the same. You guys are just as shitty about movies as we are sometimes. It's
well,
crazy.
I think that's the whole European attitude, though. I mean, if you watch some foreign movies, that's their attitude. They're all like snotty and.
But that's the thing. To me, I would think that they would just eat the artist up. Like they would.
You'd think they would.
The main guy's a French actor.
They
like,
loved it.
Yeah. It's just weird. I don't know that I would ever give somebody a refund on that movie. You'd have to really just be a piece of shit.
Why would you give someone a
yelling at me.
refund on a movie they didn't like? Because that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I think a lot of theaters will
do they do
it.
it?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I think mostly because
I would ask for my money back during Twilight.
I think no. I think it's mostly because if it's
act like I had a seizure or something.
Yeah. Well, no. If you go up and really make a scene, they just for $10 they want you to go away. I think it's mostly that. Like most people don't do it. Because if it's a movie they don't like, they're like, well, I asked for that.
Well, speaking of popcorn, our movie theater today, they didn't have enough popcorn popped.
Oh, so that's why it took so long.
That's why I didn't get any. But they had only one machine popping the popcorn, and they had 4 behind the counter. Yeah. And then their manager was walking around saying, slow down with these orders, guys. I'm waiting for the popcorn to pop.
Slow down with these orders.
And it was 7:30 on a Friday.
Manager.
You're like, dude, you should have tons of popcorn.
Yeah.
Dumbass.
Aww.
That's what Laura judging about is like, look at his long hair comb over grease ball.
You
womp fucker. I'm
go
like,
in the back
whoa!
and get the garbage bags full of last night's popcorn.
I was racist.
Why didn't they just go in the back and get the popcorn from last night that they throw in garbage bags?
Yeah, exactly. No, dude, it was unbelievable. Anyways, that's
Use it up for the
topic,
matinee.
But, yeah, but you think they'd have tons of popcorn popped?
Anyway,
idiotic.
If you have previews,
yeah, you should know what that movie is going in.
You should. I mean, who goes into the artist not knowing that it's a silent movie?
And you know what? If you don't know, cool, the person is doing something for you. Like it's not like nothing's wrong. You don't complain about that. Like somebody created that thing and you paid to enjoy it. At least give it a chance. Don't sit there being a bitch about like I can't understand what they're saying.
I don't like that artistic choice.
Really, I actually thought it was impressive.
And why'd you sit through the whole movie?
Yeah.
Walk out and go see something else. Fuck.
Sir, I understand you didn't like your steak, but did you have to eat the whole thing?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
Okay.
So George Lucas retired this week.
He did?
No, he didn't.
Oh.
What he said was he's going to stop making blockbuster movies. Right, that sounds confusing, right? Because the last one that he made was a Star Wars movie.
I guess he's not going to make any more Indiana Jones. Nice.
No, actually, he said no. He actually left a caveat saying he would come back and make an Indiana Jones movie, but he's not making any more blockbusters.
That'd be awesome if they just let Steven Spielberg do one.
Yeah. So basically, there's this really long article on the New York Times that you should read because it is actually pretty fascinating. It's not written by George Lucas. It's a guy who interviews George Lucas. And part of it is that George Lucas...
Turkey.
Part of it is this: George Lucas says, like, I'm gonna start making like small personal films like I did back in the 70s.
Sweet. THX 1138.
Yeah. If he made THX or if he made American Graffiti again, if he actually starts making movies is the point here, and they were good, great. Good for him. That's wonderful. But this idea that he's retiring when the only movies he's made in the last 20 years really are the Star Wars movies and one Indiana Jones sequel, and they've all been shit, like, this retiring thing is a joke. And again, he leaves a caveat saying when they make Indiana Jones 5, he will be there for that, unfortunately. But the real interesting things about it are what he says about the other stuff going on. He says there's not going to be another Star Wars movie, obviously, and for good reasons. But then when he's talking about Red Tails, he tells this long story about how hard it was to get Red Tails made, and he almost makes it sound as if it's because, like, oh, well, nobody wanted to make it because of racism, because it's an all-black cast and nobody wants to tell this story. But then he also goes into talking about how he wanted to make the movie not in a modern style, but in this extremely, what I would call saccharine, naive kind of film. He actually uses the word naive multiple times about the way he makes films. Like, basically, he wants to make this shitty-looking, like, 50s sort of war film, the kind of completely pointless and over-dramatized and over-heroic war films that, like, John Wayne was making out of this really important story that could be something really good. And that to me is the reason why no one wanted to make this movie. I don't believe for a second that no one wanted to make, in a year when, the past few years we've seen, like, Precious and these other movies, The Help did amazingly well last year. It has nothing to do with who's in the movie or what the movie is about. It has everything to do with the fact that he wanted to make a shitty movie. In fact, it's so shitty that they filmed the movie and then they hired Aaron McGruber, who's the creator of the Boondocks. They hired him to rewrite scenes to make it less sappy and corny, and then they reshot sequences of the movie so that the movie didn't suck so bad. Like, his argument is invalid in the same article where he makes it. It's absolutely fascinating, and you should read it just for that. And then the other funny thing that he says is that Steven Spielberg recently took credit for the nuking the fridge scene, but he goes back on that and says, no, Steven's just trying to cover my ass. I did research, and plenty of scientists will tell you that a lead fridge has a 50-50 chance of saving you from a nuclear blast.
Does it save you from the actual trajectory and collision? Flying from a nuclear explosion?
I don't know. I have no idea what he's talking about.
You know who would live through that?
Indiana Jones.
Thank you. Lawyered.
Ryan, not you, Ryan, but other friend Ryan, has always been right that should have been a dud. The bomb should have dropped and not gone off, and then that could have been the scene, because that scene is important in that movie, but him getting nuked is not. Anyway, that's the news for this week.
I got one more thing I forgot.
Oh, sure.
The SOPA and the PIPA bills.
Oh, yeah.
Are not being voted on, so
sort
they're
of
sort of dead, huh?
They're sort of postponed.
Postponed, yes. So the whole blackout thing is kind of a little victory, but stay vigilant because they're going to try and push it through again at some point.
Yeah, and the numbers of... If you look at the numbers as far as who is supporting that bill now and who is supporting it before and who's against it, numbers against are actually higher, which is good. I think part of it is just that there was enough... because of the blackout day, there were enough people talking about it that now the people who are clearly against it are willing to say, like, oh yeah, this is bad, I'll vote against it. And so now it's clear that it's not going to happen, I don't think. Well,
it's
not, we
I
should
support
still...
a bill for stopping piracy. They just need to write it better.
Yeah, no, they need a better understanding of what goes on.
Yeah.
I think that they should pay more attention to, like, trying to stop websites from being hacked and cracking down on that, since Zappos just got hacked. And a whole bunch of people's information is out because of that. That, to me, is a bigger threat to the internet than piracy. By far.
So, what have we been watching this week? I watched a couple things. I watched Berlin Undead, which is a German zombie movie that was on Netflix. And actually, I think it was at 4 stars. The Netflix people were rating it. And that's, different for a foreign zombie movie. I'm like, what? Fuck it, I'll try it. I don't care. It's a zombie movie. And it's not good.
It's not 4-star?
No. There's some parts that are creative in it, but one, it was only like an hour and 3 minutes long.
What?
Bizarre.
That's a short film, sir.
So anyways, the story is this guy goes to give his girlfriend back the keys to their apartment because she dumped him. And when he shows up at her apartment, there's a plumber working on her... I don't even know what. Pipes?
Is this a porn?
Yeah, but he's like in the bedroom. He's like... Rah, 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 rah. And all of a sudden he's a zombie, evidently. And so the boyfriend gets him out of the apartment, and he's trying to get back in, and then he's worried about his girlfriend because his girlfriend left to go get eggs. I don't know. And then he looks out the window, and they're like in this huge courtyard that has a gate that blocks people in, and then there's just random zombies running around. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah, and exactly. It's
so interesting.
It's that's how boring it is, and I couldn't believe it was an hour and 3 minutes because
you finished the whole thing.
Yeah, I because whatever, and how they got the zombies out of the courtyard. This is true. Is the cool kid in it? There's always the cool kid.
Yeah.
He was hiding from these zombies on top of some sort of cabinet that housed dishes that he crawled onto, but for some reason the zombies couldn't get to him. Yeah, I know.
They couldn't knock over the cabinet.
They couldn't knock over the cabinet. And so he used a camera that he had, and he was using the viewfinder to look around, and a zombie came out of the corner, and he snapped a picture, and the flash made the zombie stagger because their eyes are so sensitive. I'm watching, I'm like, this is a piece of shit.
So then, was it like the end of Rear Window? Like he runs around with a flash bulb and then punches the zombies in the face?
Gremlins.
Yeah, Rear Window?
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, and then they also, if you get bit by a zombie, you don't turn into a zombie right away. If you stay calm and don't let the adrenaline go through you, then you don't turn into a zombie.
An interesting concept right there.
It is interesting, but then there's a scene where he was running down the flight of stairs of this apartment and just taking pictures, and all the zombies were flooding out of the doorway, and they're like "Rawr, rawr," as he was flashing with the flash. I'm like, fuck that. And the flash kept on going. It was like a strobe light. I'm like, usually, you hit a flash, it has to recharge, even on digital cameras. The movie shit, don't watch it. I also watched The Fox and the Hound, which it's a cute movie, but I don't think the animation in it's very good. I have it on Blu-ray, and it kind of points out, brings up a lot of the, I don't know if flaws is the right word, but the roughness of mid-'80s, late 80s Disney movies, you know what I mean?
It's a period where the animators, they were the original Disney animators, and they were all getting old, and they just had to kind of cut corners to get stuff out in time.
I mean, the movie's still cute. Laura bawled her eyes out when
I haven't seen this as well.
She put the fox back into the forest. And Laura, what would you say? It wasn't his fault, or I forget what you were saying, but she was bawling. But the movie's still cute, and it still has a great message in it. And the last thing I watched was Resident Evil Apocalypse. Is that the fourth one? No, Afterlife. With commentary, because sometimes I'm really...
You wanted somebody to explain what the shit was happening?
I mean, I don't...
Please justify this.
Yeah, there's some scenes in it that I actually do like. But listening to Paul W.S. Anderson explain his own movie is kind of worse than actually watching the movie.
Oh, God.
I did find out some cool things, though, like the opening scene is actually filmed at Toronto University, and that's how it really looks. I thought it was all CGI, so that was kind of cool. And but then he was talking about how Resident Evil 5 was a huge influence on him, which it totally is. Like the zombies were their mouths open like that. But then they got to the executioner scene as the dude with the big hammer that drags it through. And this is literally what he said in the commentary. He said, I didn't know how I wanted him in the movie. I just thought it'd be really cool if he dragged a hammer down the street.
Oh, gosh.
And that's what he wanted to show.
I need to go buy a whole bunch of Paul W.S. Anderson movies with
listen to his commentary. I just don't get him. Every one of his movies is underground. They're in some sort of labyrinth that the doors keep on opening and closing. It's really bizarre. He really makes the same movie over and over again with kind of the same characters, but with different monsters. If you really watch his movies, Event Horizon, Alien vs. Predator, the first Resident Evil.
Now that you bring it up,
Kombat.
actually, that does remind me that one of the pieces of news this week was that Quentin Tarantino's top 10 list came out, and the Three Musketeers, Paul W. S. Anderson's The Three Musketeers is on his list.
Yep.
Which is...
Also, Rise of the Planet of the Apes was his favorite movie. It was kind of a shocker, too.
Yeah. I don't think they were in...
They weren't in an order, but he had 11 favorite movies of the year.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting. But anyways, that's what I saw this week. So yeah, if you want to listen to Paul W. S. Anderson talk about...
I do.
And you want to be bored. Because sometimes I like film commentary because you kind of actually get into what the director's thinking.
Oh, yeah.
And he was honest. He wasn't, saying, oh, look how cool of a movie I make. And he said, he liked the character of Alice. And I also saw did you see the new Resident Evil trailer?
Yeah.
Which
it looks like shit, but we will see the shit out of it.
I was really disappointed because I actually think the second Resident Evil movie has one of the coolest trailers ever, where it talks about Umbrella Cosmetics and this lady's putting on makeup, then she turns into a zombie. Thought it was cool. This one starts with the first 45 seconds is a Sony commercial.
Yeah, it is.
It's people like filming with Sony products. And it's saying, what kind of world are you going to make with Sony? You're like, what the fuck is this? And then it cuts to Alice on top of the White House.
And she's like, this is my world.
This is my world. My name is Alice. Yeah. And
That's horrible.
Then some big CGI dog chasing them through a city.
I'm hoping that it's only an internet trailer. That when they never show that trailer.
Oh, I hope so too. Oh,
because
man.
That's just.
Maybe it's before Underworld. Who knows? Same company. Anyways, that's what I saw this week. I'm done. Sorry.
No, you're good. Brad, what'd you say?
I watched Clerks and Mallrats again, and
nice.
I think we've talked about those before, so they're great. And then, sorry,
37 in a row.
Hey, get back here.
I went down on a couple guys.
Oh yeah, I got my Rushmore Blu-ray, so I watched that.
Oh, you did?
I picked it up from the mail. That's the second time I've seen it, and it's just good. I don't know.
Is the Criterion Blu-ray awesome?
Yeah, it's actually almost exactly like the DVD version. Like it comes with all the fold-out prints inside, like the map and whatnot.
Yeah, they make awesome DVDs.
Yeah, Criterion's awesome.
Yeah, I wish they would make every DVD for good movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's. It just makes me more excited for Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah.
So, and then I intermittently watched the Die Hard trilogy throughout the week. It was on AMC.
Lovely.
So I watched the censored version. Huh?
The trilogy, huh?
Yeah.
So you mean Die Hard 1, Die Hard 3, and Die Hard 4, right?
What are you getting at?
Die Harder?
No, not that movie. The
really?
Good,
I don't think the second one's bad.
This is what happened. Die Hard 1 was on AMC, so
Yeah.
I watched that with my parents, and it's censored, so it's a little less
Garbage,
interesting.
yeah.
But I bring it up because I was critiquing it more watching it, like for what the 15th time in my life. The guy who McClane's like in a conference room, or whatever, and then one of the terrorists busts in on him, and they're doing like the little standoff, like don't shoot me or I'll shoot you thing.
Yeah.
And then the other terrorist comes in, that guy ducks, and then John McClane kills that guy, and then he ducks under a row of tables and in between some chairs. And then the terrorist who survives, his strategy is to jump up on the row of tables and follow John McClane as he crawls on his back under the tables.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you should really not hesitate. And then John McClane's like, yeah, good advice. And then shoots through the table and kills the guy. It's like, that's the stupidest terrorist ever. Like,
yeah,
he
he's
should
a terrorist.
just stood where he was and just shoot under all the tables.
Terrorists.
Terrorism doesn't pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
that's
For
my
your
favorite.
college education.
Oh! That's my favorite Christmas movie of all time is Die Hard.
Right. But it's just, I never really thought about it until then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one ever seems to talk about it. Like, I never really
That
hear
movie is
people-
still great, though.
It's still great.
You're nitpicking a
I
lot.
know. But I'm
Okay.
just saying, like, this is the first time I've noticed that. And,
Yeah.
I never
Remember,
heard
there's-
anyone mention it before.
There's not too much logic in 80s action movies.
This
That's
is
why
true.
they're awesome.
Yeah.
Stick around.
So, and then I watched the third one because a couple days later it was on AMC again. And,
And it's awesome.
yeah, it's not as bad as people...
No, it's the best Die Hard movie.
No,
Is
it's
it?
Not, it's not
Yes.
better than the first one.
Yeah, it's better than the first one.
Do you know that wasn't a Die Hard movie originally?
I know. And then
Simon
I thought we
Says.
should. It was just going to be a great movie, and then they were like, "Let's make it a Die Hard movie, and it'll be even better." That's what they said.
Jeremy Irons.
So why is it the number one Die Hard movie for you?
Because I think that the like actual plot of the villain in that movie is interesting, Whereas Hans Gruber is like, I took this building hostage. Like, it is the first movie, I think, that starts turning him into sort of a superhero like he is in the fourth movie, which is just silly. Like, I'm kind of joking,
though.
No, yeah, the fourth one is good, but not the way that the other ones are. But anyway, I just think that the third one's really great. Plus, it's got Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson is good. I don't know.
I agree. It's
my
a good movie. Yeah. And then because I watched those two, I felt I had to watch the second one on Netflix. So I sat through that at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And just looking at it, critiquing even more, like you thought the first one was.
Yeah.
The second one is just totally ridiculous.
It is.
Yeah.
Filmed at Stapleton.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Did not know that.
Denver represent.
Sweet. I play trivia out there. I should go over to the old complex and
should.
try to pick out, like, this is where the plane crashed, and this is where he ejected out of the cockpit. And
Oh, yeah, where he goes up to the screen.
Oh, that movie's
that part.
dumb.
I love that movie.
Him jumping on a jet that's shooting trucks off of a highway.
Amazing.
Not as stupid as that scene.
What's the other thing? Like, they have him in, like, at one point they have John McClane, like, they have him captured, but they don't shoot him or something.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I don't remember that movie very well. I just know that the title is Die Harder, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I think it's awesome.
No.
It totally plays in that 80s action feel.
Oh, gosh.
I'm waiting for Die Hardest.
That should be the name of the fourth one.
Oh, all of those movies have horrible titles. The next one.
I like Live Free and Die Hard.
Die Hard's pretty good.
Live Free or Die Hard's not bad. Die Hard, yeah, is good. The next one is awful. I don't even remember what it is, but
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
no, Today is a Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah.
Is that what it
A
is?
Good Day to Die Hard.
Day.
Yeah,
I
A
think
Good
it should
Day
be.
to Die
It's a Good Day to Die
Hard.
Hard.
Gosh, it's bad. Is that everything you said?
Yep, that's it. What do you got,
Okay, I guess
James?
It's me. A couple things. All of them. Well, no, two of them awesome. Justified came back this week, which you should be watching. Justified. First of all, if anyone is listening to this, not many that people are, but hey, we just talked about Live Free or Die Hard. It's pretty good.
Yeah, he's all right.
Have you ever actually watched Justified?
No.
You should watch the pilot.
Okay.
It's one of the best episodes of television I've ever seen.
Is it better than the ending of Friends? Because a lot of things aren't.
I don't know. I didn't watch that much Friends.
But
But hey, I got you onto Lost, and I think Alias. Give me a.
I think I saw Alias before I met you. Actually,
okay, maybe. Just give me a shot and watch the first episode.
Okay,
and,
I will.
But more so,
I will.
If you're somebody who's like into cop shows and you're not watching Justified, you're missing one of your favorite shows. Like it's amazing.
My stepmother loves it.
I'm not a big cop show guy. Like I never was, and so when I got into the show, I was amazed that it hooked me as much as it did. Because it's still kind of episodic, but there's enough serializedness to it that it keeps me going. And the opening of the season, not as strong as last season. Last season was one of the best seasons of television, for me at least, but still really good. But most of the week I spent watching Downton Abbey, which is a British show. It's written by Julian Fellows, who is the guy who wrote Gosford Park, and the show basically is Gosford Park, but with an all British cast and made for the BBC. And it's set in the 1910s in England
Turn of the century.
with sort of aristocracy people, or not aristocracy people, but rich people and their help living in their house. And it's sort of a drama, romance, mostly romance sort of show.
Ew.
Oh no, it's so good. It is so good.
Just kidding.
Good.
No, really. It's one of those shows. It takes a while, but I'll be honest. After a couple of episodes, it gets into this habit where every scene will end, and I'll go, oh. Like there's one character in the show where every time he comes on screen, I just start yelling, "Die in a fire" at the TV until the scene is over because I hate him so much. But everybody
won a lot
else,
of Golden Globes.
they do. Yeah, oh yeah, it's won a bunch of awards in the last couple of years. What is great about that show is that there are a lot of different characters, and every time that a character is on screen, it's doing something to grow that character, so that you don't spend a lot of time with everybody, but after a while, you love every character on that show. With the exception of the sort of villain characters, every time a scene starts, you're excited for that scene to get started. You're excited about who's in that scene and where it's going to go and what's going to happen. It's really well written. And if you like British posh stuff like that, you should check it out.
I like Spaced.
If you like Gosford Park, you should watch that show. And then the last thing was Alcatraz, which is the new Bad Robot TV show starring Jorge Garcia and Sarah Jones, written by Elizabeth Sarnov and a whole bunch of other the first 2 episodes are directed by Jack Bender from Lost. So all of that crew is involved. Sam Neill, you're right, is in the show. And did either of you watch it?
Yeah, I did. It's all right.
Yeah, there's nothing about it to hate. Like, I kind of want to keep watching it, but it's so much more episodic, and they try and get so much into the first 2 episodes that I don't really feel like I'm hooked. There's not enough about those characters.
I think it's interesting enough to watch it again.
Yeah.
Because sometimes TV doesn't take too many chances, and I think this show might actually be a show that takes chances.
Be cool.
So we'll see.
Like I regret that I didn't stick with Fringe, because I feel like I would probably really love Fringe if I were still watching it. And this may be a show that is not quite as good as Fringe, but I'm going to keep watching it just because I don't want to lose track, But I don't know. I'm not as excited now as I hoped I would be. Sarah Jones, who hasn't really been in anything, she's in an episode of Justified last season. That's why I know her name, because I had to look her up and be like, where do I know this girl from? She isn't that good, I don't think, in the show. Like the main girl.
Yeah.
Like there are just some scenes that I think she kind of drops, and so I don't connect with her enough to really want to keep watching it. But anyway, that was everything I saw. And then Haywire.
Yeah, we saw Haywire this week. Brad, should people go see Haywire?
Meh.
Laura, should people go see Haywire?
Meh.
Matt?
Meh. I'm gonna say maybe. If you feel like going to a movie in January, this is probably not a horrible movie to see.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. It's there.
Yeah, I would say keep listening to our review, because we're not really going to spoil anything. I mean, we'll talk about it, but it won't spoil the movie for you.
No.
And then decide for yourself. Cause
yeah, I agree, because
I think it needs more talking about than...
Yeah, because I don't know how to describe. Anyways, here's a trailer for Haywire.
Negotiations broke down. Fix it.
I have an assignment. It's like a paid holiday.
Starting when?
Go, go, go! The story will be that she's gone rogue.
You can tell me right now why you sold me out, or you can tell me in 10 minutes when I have my hands around your throat.
Haywire. I've never done a woman before.
You shouldn't think of her as being a woman. That would be a mistake.
I don't know. Because you're in the movie, and I don't know. It had a weird, like, funky 70s porn music beat to it the whole time.
Oh, dude, no. Don't start off by my favorite thing about this movie is that score.
No, I didn't say it was bad. I said it was funky 70s porn style music.
It feels like, well, it's very much the, like, Ocean's 11 kind of score. Where it's trying to be
shot
fun,
like Ocean's 11, though.
Fun, slick spy movie.
Why is it shot like Ocean's 11?
Because it's directed by the guy who made Ocean's
11.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Hold on, set it up. What's going on?
Oh, so it's a Steven Soderbergh movie. And it's about this girl who she's not really a spy. She's a mercenary for sort of a Blackwater kind of organization that she gets. Her little group of people get hired to go and do missions, usually beneficial things like saving guys who've been kidnapped. And then the group sort of turns on her, and they try to kill her. And then she has to fight her way out and figure out what happened, and then kill some dudes. But the real kicker here is that the main Steven Soderbergh, as he tends to do sometimes, didn't cast an actress in the lead role. He cast a WWE wrestler who.
Is she a wrestler? I thought she was a mixed martial arts.
Oh no, you're right. She's a mixed martial arts fighter.
What other movies did he not cast an actress in the lead in? I'm sorry.
Well,
I don't follow him that much.
The big one that stands out in my mind is The Girlfriend Experience, where he cast Sasha Grey as an actual as a prostitute. But so, I mean, yeah, anyway, so he's done it before, and he sort of does this thing where he'll make a big budget movie that's really for everyone, and then he'll do these little experimental films where he'll play with an idea, or he'll come up with something and do something weird. And I think this is actually one of those movies, but it's getting a wide release.
Yeah,
that's the way it feels to me. Yeah,
experiment boring the hell out of me.
Well, I think the action scenes in this movie are pretty cool.
Well, yeah, but for being so violent, it's really boring.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. The way I would describe it is that it's a script that's just hot garbage. Like, it's just a horrible script. But then Steven Soderbergh decided that he should come in and make it cool, and everything good about this movie is because of him. Like, everything good about this movie is the way he shoots the action, the interesting way that he frames shots and things like that, and some of the pacing of some of the scenes is cool. But then there's the actual plot itself, like what these people are doing, is just
thin.
Yeah, it's shitty.
Well, I mean, I thought it was actually really cool when they went and rescued the guy who was kidnapped. I liked the way it was shot, where they kind of took the sound out of it, and the sound only really came on when they were firing guns.
Yeah,
and them tracking him was in black and white, and so you could kind of see his movements, so you knew exactly where he was in black and white, and they were in color. It was interesting, but then sometimes I didn't like the angles that he had on. I always thought it was weird. The one that really stood out for me is when he had the wine bottle totally in the foreground, and then he had the two characters talking, but it wasn't focused on the characters.
In her office, or in
her apartment with Ewan McGregor and her. It's just bizarre.
I must have not remembered that part because I fell asleep again.
You did not? No way.
Yeah.
I will say this, and unfortunately, because of the popcorn scandal, you guys missed the scene. But the opening scene of this movie, I was excited.
I couldn't find you guys. I was waiting for Laura at the top. I watched that one. Yeah,
you didn't see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was the part of the movie that made me go like, okay, this is going to be cool.
Because I actually thought
this is going to be really a good January surprise.
Where did the guy who took down Channing Tatum in that scene disappear to?
It's Michael Angarello.
What?
Yeah, it's Michael Angarello. Like
the
kid
he jumped on him?
Yeah, that's who that was.
Some other dude from the bar area.
No.
Actually, I thought Channing Tatum was pretty funny
involved.
at the beginning.
Oh yeah,
where he's like, I'm hungover, I'm supposed to be on vacation.
Yeah, I think Channing Tatum actually does a pretty good job. Especially there are a lot of great actors in this movie, and they do not all turn in good performances. Bill Paxton is doing some weird every scene he's in. I'm just going, He
has 2 lines of horrible dialogue.
Oh, there are more than worst line of dialogue in the movie, as far as I'm concerned, is, "Oh no, more Leos. What's a Leo? Law enforcement officer." Why is that in the movie? That was the moment where I was like, "Oh yeah, this script is just fucking garbage."
Dad, keep your eyes open. I've never had them close, or something.
Yeah, I know.
I've been open since you were born.
Watch your back, or something. Yeah. Oh gosh. I
liked Michael Douglas in it. It's cool to see him in a movie again. He hasn't been in a movie in a while because he had cancer.
Yeah, that's for sure.
He never sleeps.
Michael Fassbender does a pretty good job.
I guess 2 years ago. Still.
The whole part in Dublin, I thought was
cool.
pretty exciting.
When she was with Michael Fassbender, not the part where she found the dead dude that she rescued. I wasn't really that shocked.
Yeah, that part. That part
up.
Was weird. But then,
how did he get to that
sequence,
area?
The chase sequence after that is pretty cool. I thought, though it goes on for too long, and it doesn't. It's never quite smart enough. Yeah. For most of that chase sequence, I'm going no, she needs to take the hat off and turn her jacket inside out and, move the bag so it's not on her back and that kind of stuff where I'm like, no, I'm smarter than this movie and I could do this better than she could. And yes, she can do the physicality of the role, but that I'm not impressed by that.
She's no Jason Bourne running through rooftops.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't come across like that.
Did you guys notice that, like, when she went up the stairs and she was throwing all this stuff on the staircase?
When the
team came in, there was nothing.
Yeah, they didn't have to. Yeah, there are smart moments like that where she tries to defeat the other people, and then what she does isn't effective or isn't part of the movie, and it's thrown off.
I couldn't figure out, like, if it was like maybe she did that to a different staircase, then why did they film her like doing that in the first place?
And later in that building, she gets to the top of the stairs and she kicks open a door, and I think, oh, this is smart. She's gonna kick open this door and then go a different way, and they're gonna think she's in there. And then no, she does go in there. Like,
and how do they know she was in that building? Because she ran
she
across.
Still had I thought she still had the tracker on her. Like, I thought, oh, this is all she's gonna find something to put the tracker on to get it away from her. Like, we never saw her get rid of the tracker.
Because she left her backpack at that store.
Yeah. Oh, did she? Oh, okay.
And so she was like, how did they know what building she was in? Because she jumped across all these buildings and...
It wasn't when she put on the hoodie. She had the hat on underneath it. And I was like, what are you
right.
doing?
Why are you still wearing the hat? Yeah, so it's stuff like that where I'm like, no. Like,
I justified it. Was like
the way it was written wasn't good enough.
Yeah. Or her hair or something. That's what I was thinking.
But then, like...
Yeah.
Like, the way that chase sequence is shot, I think, is really cool. Like, there's one really good shot where she's running on the rooftops, and we see her, like, running between some stuff here, and then we see them burst out on a different building from behind, and it's just sort of a... I don't know. There are little shots like that where he's paying attention to details.
Oh, no, he's a cool director,
but the actual things that are going on in the movie, like the stuff that I'm supposed to be holding on to, are so weak that I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I was like, I don't care if they catch her. Like,
yeah.
I'm not invested in this at all.
And you know, when that kid was laying down in the back of the police car, and she's like talking to him, it's just bizarre.
It's like he was talking to OnStar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well,
and then whatever happened to him, he's just gone. You didn't hear the phone call she made to Michael Douglas. I never got if Michael Douglas was a bad guy or a good guy, or he's playing both sides.
Spoiler alert, I guess he's good.
Yeah, I guess he's good.
Yeah. That was weird. And what you bring up is part of the fact that her entire role is voiceovered. They, for some reason, they didn't like her voice, and so they did some audio stuff, and it's not really clear what they did. But
I heard they just altered her voice.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you can kind of tell every now and then that it's not quite.
Well, it's not right,
voiceover.
But
because it sounds like a voiceover actress. Like,
yeah.
I think I've heard that voice in like some video game or something. It reminded me of you played this game, Honey Rogue Ops. Like, it was the same voice of that chick in that game.
Yeah, and I was telling Brad this after the movie that there are lines that are delivered by that character, and they're delivered the way that a voiceover actress would be trained to deliver them. They're emphasized the way that you would expect them to be heard out of an animated character or something like that. Like, that could be that it's not actually a voiceover, that it's this weird, they did something to the audio and that she's just not a very good actress, and so she doesn't deliver those lines quite right. But I don't think so. I think that they pretty much voiceovered her whole role. Because it sounds weird. Like, it sounds like it's not in the audio properly. Like, it sounds like a narration talking to characters. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go to IMDb. Look it up.
Oh, look up
the
whether
cast
or not.
List. Yeah. Crew.
Yeah, I tried to look when the actual credits were going by, but I don't know if they would actually credit that person.
Usually IMDb has like uncredited listings, so.
Yeah, but those don't always come up this early after a movie comes out.
But Michael Fassbender is charming. That's all I know.
Yeah. I don't know.
McGregor didn't do enough in that movie, I don't think.
Well, that's the thing with Steven Soderbergh's movies, though, is he hires tons of actors, really good ones, and they only do like 4 days of shooting. That's why he's able to get them all, like the Ocean's 11 movies and stuff, and Contagion. You know, I think he said Gwyneth Paltrow worked on that movie for 2 days. And
that is kind of like Contagion is 4 months ago. Like, no wonder this dude is talking about it retiring. He's doing a movie every 4 months.
Yeah, he has 2 more coming out this year. I know that.
Yeah.
So it's every 4 months. If he had 3 movies, it'd be every 4 months.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not seeing anything that whoever the voice actress is, I have a feeling she is hidden somewhere in the credits as, you know, not as Mallory's voice, but as like audio something correction something.
The cool thing about that girl, though, I did read that she did all her own stunts and all her own fighting, so that's pretty cool.
Well, shoot, if she didn't, why would you hire her to do it?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I thought she kind of kicked ass.
Yeah,
she's great. Yeah,
It's always cool to see women in those kind of roles where they just destroy men.
Yeah, and the fighting does feel different than we've seen
Like,
before.
it was believable. Like I said this before. Like, when we watched Salt, Angelina Jolie was super skinny and was wearing heels the whole time. But there's no way she could kick that dude's ass. But this chick, I believed it.
Yeah. Yeah, she looks like she was a Marine at some point.
Yeah. And she wore flat-heeled boots, so...
Mm-hmm. Totally.
I noticed those things.
Yeah.
Like, Charlie's Angels and they're running in stilettos? No. You would not do that. But...
Well, but that movie is going for something different, you know? Like, this is trying to be a Bourne Identity movie, though not succeeding.
No.
But for January...
Yeah, could always
that's
be
not
worse.
bad. Yeah.
Would you rather watch Underworld or Red Tails?
Yes.
I'll be honest, I was really kind of wishing we were seeing Red Tails after reading that article, because I wanted to know, you know?
Yeah.
But, whatever. Haywire's all right.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
glad I saw it.
I'll see it again when it's on TBS or something, maybe.
I'm gonna take a note somewhere, because it's gonna be an early contender, at least for me, as far as best score of the year, because that music is cool. Though it'll get disqualified because the score has nothing to do with the movie.
How was that?
What?
Anyways.
January is impressive for movies.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I mean, what are you going to do?
But this isn't so bad.
No.
At least there is a movie to go see every week for the next 2 weeks. What do we see next week, right?
It's just me and James next week, because, Brad, where are you going to be?
I'm going to Geek Bowl.
Oh, that's right.
Weren't you just there?
What?
Didn't you just go to Washington, D.C. like a week ago?
That's not Geek Bowl, James.
Oh.
I'm going to Austin.
He's going to a whole big trivia thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't that why you went to Washington, D.C.?
No, I went to Washington, D.C. to see a friend.
Oh, okay.
So
never mind.
So, James, it's up to me and you. We have The Gray,
Okay.
Man on a Ledge, or One for the Money.
So it's The Gray.
So we'll be seeing The Gray with Liam Neeson because he has a cool voice.
Yeah.
And the movie looks all right, except it looks like he's fighting wolves the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah. It looks different. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see it because I want to know really what's going on.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Could always be worse. Could be
It's
Creature.
Liam Neeson.
Could be Twilight.
It's not going to be Creature. He's not going to kill the wolves with a sinkhole.
Maybe he'll create a trap
knock
and the
on
wolves
something.
will run into it and they'll go, woo!
then they'll transform into Jacob, and then we'll be like, yes, he's dead.
That'd be awesome. And then he'd have to turn really stoically towards the camera and walk away, and then Edward would say something all whiny and bitchy.
Is there going to be like a town meeting scene where all the wolves get together to plot against Liam Neeson? Because that would be cool.
I forgot about that scene in that movie.
Liam Neeson has to die. He's going to give birth to
I am Jacob.
Spawn of Satan.
Grandson of this one wolf guy.
My grandpa was a chief. Liam Neeson is a dick.
And I won't see Man on a Ledge, even though I love Elizabeth Banks. I can't stand Sam Worthington because he's all right if he did. Just don't do an American accent, dude. You can't do it. Yeah. Just don't do it.
The whole premise of that movie, based on the trailer, just looks ridiculous.
It does.
Reminds me of Phone Booth.
Phone Booth, but except without
but Phone Booth
great
was
actors.
Great. Yeah,
Kiefer Sutherland as the voice is amazing.
Yeah,
and Colin Farrell's really good. So yeah, we'll see The Gray.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be
Should
good.
be fun.
I thought of a title for Die Hard 6.
Yeah.
Die Hardering.
Die Hardering.
Oh,
nice. Man. Hey, you can like us on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter, real_nerds. You can also read our amazing blogs at realnerds.tumblr.com. You can also get some awesome barbecue sauce at your Ace Hardware stores, Birdman Barbecue. And yeah, that's about it. This has been a Nebulous Visions production. I am Ryan, and that's James, and that's Brad, and that's my wife. She's very beautiful. And Matt, he's from Colorado Springs.
Oh, this is identity for now
really
on.
Falling down.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Oh
right.
no, dude, we're seeing One for the Money.
I'm not saying.
You guys want to hear my
we'll go see one
David Spade Hollywood minute? Do you guys remember that from the mid '90s from Saturday Night Live?
No.
And next week, One for the Money comes out. I saw it the first time when it was called The Bounty Hunter.
Oh, you saw The Bounty Hunter.
I did. Actually, I have a funny story about that. Have you met my cousin Chad, right?
No.
Maybe. He's always out of town when I lived over there, but he's like the most manly guy ever. And one day I was at home and I was cooking, and he came back and says, "Hey, you want to watch a movie with me?" I said, "Yeah, sure." I said, "What'd you get?" He said, "The Bounty Hunter." I'm like, okay. And we were disappointed. But looks like they already rebooted it as One for the Money.
Well, but this is
There's also that Al Pacino, Matthew McConaughey, Two for the Money movie. So is this a prequel?
Maybe.
Unintentional.
It's along the same lines as like Sahara, where they just want to start making movies out of a really popular writer's books.
Yeah. I mean,
though I'm sure that Janet Ivanovich is not as big of a bitch as what's his face?
Katherine Heigl?
No.
Clive Cussler?
No, Clive Cussler, yeah.
And there's also 18 of those books, so we can expect 18
more Katherine Heigl movies. Yeah, but they're putting it out in January, which is a clear sign that they think that Katherine Heigl isn't worth shit as far as bringing people to the movies.
She's also a bitch, though. Have you, like...
I never met her, but...
Well, no, I mean... No, if you read articles about how she was on Grey's Anatomy before she left, how she thought she was more important than everybody else, and...
Is that show still on?
It is, I guess.
think so.